for the states to come together and, petition the federal government and say, no, we're not gonna do that. And so it depends on how the bill's written. And that's why a lot of us have not just said, oh, we're gonna embrace that with all our opportunity. But it's something that a lot of states, the people out of Utah have really pushed it a lot. And those are people that I've been working with the NCSL. So it is an issue that's becoming more and more. And I would be disappointed if there weren't a lot of people here that knew what that is. But it is an issue that's going to be addressed, and how it's going to be addressed, I'm not sure right now, because it's got to be a bill that's written.
Well, the pros of it essentially is the state's telling the federal government, this is the line drawn in the sand. You're not going over that line. It is in the Constitution to give the states that authority to do that.
And that's why I've been pushing this 10th Amendment.
Right.
Because I think it is similar. It doesn't go quite as far as a constitutional convention or that Article 5. But I think, I know both of them are going to be filed. Yeah. And we're going to try to work on that.
And the thing is, everybody, there's some scared that it'll be what they call the runaway convention, and they'll just throw out the Constitution and rewrite it from ground zero. But how many were at Van when we had the meeting there with the Constitution with Rick Green? Rick Green left from there to go to Washington, D.C. They had a mock convention of states there. If you're familiar with Mark Levin, a big radio host, he and a lot of others were part of that. And it went real smooth, and it did not end up being a runaway convention.
But those were people that kind of agreed with us.
Agreed with it, yes, that's true. They all were on the same page.
That was like getting all the foxes together and talking about how they were going to eat the hen.
All right, Bob, you give us your opinion on this.
Okay. Well, let me start by saying this is one of those subjects that falls into that broad category. If you listen to what Representative Flynn said and what I said about topics, it's a broad spectrum of things, and it takes a lot of study to come up and truly understand them, and this is one of them. And where I am is in about the middle of my study. I have read, I have listened, I have talked to people on both sides of this issue, and both sides have some really good arguments. And a lot of it hinges on what Representative Flynn just said, is it's going to depend on how the bill is written in the thing. There are really good points for doing it.
Both of us read bills before we vote on them too. Just for the record.
Yes. And there are issues on both sides of it. And where I am is, it's out. This is one of the things I've told the folks that are adamant about, why don't you get on board and support this? I said, I only have 24/7. I'm really grateful that God stopped at 24/7 and go to 36 and 8, but you can only do so much. And on my priority list, you heard what the priority is. There are a few more items on there, and this issue, to me right now, doesn't rise to the point that it's at the top of my list. It doesn't mean I'm going to oppose it, doesn't mean I'm going to support it. It's just I got other things to do.
Okay.
So,
all right,
and you do want to be sure that you have the support of all the leadership too.
Sure.
Because you can work a lot of time, spend a lot of time working on something, and if there's nobody in leadership wants to do it.
Representative.
Yes, sir.
You phrased it. It is not a constitutional convention. That is a bad phrase. That's not even descriptive.
Well, I'm a product of public education.
But you're sorry. But you can read on your own. You can read the Constitution.
Yeah,
It is
you're
not
right, and that's why I'm going with the 10th Amendment. I know that if we can do that, let me tell you what. He spent a lot of time about border security. Both of us have spent a lot of time on border security. Those are big issues that we need to take care of, and the federal government's not doing anything. The 10th Amendment is another big issue we need to take care of. This is one of those issues that I think it's kind of like some of these people that have really studied it and feel real good about it. They haven't listened to all the negatives, just like he said. But anyway, I think it's something that's certainly going to. It was a bill filed last session, but it just didn't go very far because
everybody. Do you understand what I'm getting at?
Yes, sir, I do.
It's not a constitutional.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
If I may address that issue, I got an email from someone who's working statewide on this Constitution, Committee for a convention of the states, okay? And it depends on how the proposal is written, but there's two ways to amend the Constitution. How many in this room think our federal government's out of control? Okay, we're not gonna get Congress to call for these amendments that we need. And the only other way to do it under the Constitution is Article 5, which provides that 2/3 of the state legislatures may call for a constitutional convention. And if it's written tightly so that it doesn't get out of control, we can do this, and we need to we need term limits on congressmen and senators. We need term limits on judges. We need to, in my opinion, abolish the EPA. We need to abolish Obamacare.
You on my T-shirt? You sound just like him.
Well, he came out today with
term
a
limit.
proposal to limit terms on congressmen and senators, but
Right.
he's more generous than I am. I think they ought to only be able to serve 12 years cumulative, whether part of it's in the House and part of it's in the Senate. They can't be in the Beltway more than 12 years. And I have letters here that I wrote to Senator Hall and Representative Flynn on September the 28th, asking for their support for this. Governor Abbott supports it, and I asked for a reply, and I never got one, so I'll give each
I
of
bet you'll
you,
get one now.
I'll give each of you a copy.
Well, we get lots of letters, and if it's September 28th, I think we're up to about answering September 15th
And
right
I
now.
think,
So
I think,
we will get to it.
going back to what you said, I think that should be at the top of everybody's list that's in the state legislature.
We appreciate you coming. Let's try to keep comments as short as we can, right?
I have a question for both.
Yeah.
You're talking about refiling bills that I'm guessing you filed last session. So if you could, tell us what happened to your bills last session, and maybe explain what you're hoping will happen this, but
Which bill are you talking about?
any that you're gonna refile, either one of you are gonna refile like you
We
mentioned.
filed 90 bills, and the governor signed all of ours.
That we
As
talked
far
about
as
as
what we're talking
priorities
about, there's raw milk that we're going to do because it's a big issue in our area, particularly in the Hunt County and Hopkins County area. We'll be refiling that one, and that's because we're fighting a state agency. As far as other bills that we filed the bill for border security, and we did get more money. We got more money from the DPS. So we got a lot, you need to be more specific with what you're asking.
Yes, okay, of the bills you discussed tonight that are important to you, like 10th Amendment and, what were some others mentioned? Senator Hall mentioned the EMP. Of those bills, what happened to them last session? Because I know you did file a lot of bills, but hit the highlights of, and then what happened to
One
them
of them
last
was,
session?
what, Sharia law? or
Mhm.
law-
Yeah, we
law
filed
from
it. There were a couple of bills
And
filed.
you're gonna refile that one?
I will.
Good,
We'll find out what it is that, and I'll tell you what happened on that particular bill, Brian, is that the family law courts were concerned about the way it was written, because they have so many foreign employees, and that was one of their big concerns. I don't care. If we're gonna file the bill, American law on American courts, they can take their foreign employees and go prosecute them or do what they want to in their country. So those are issues that, you have to work out things as they go. You don't always get a bill just because you file it. You don't always get it passed immediately, and it does take a particular amount of time to work on, because you have to work with the people that come up with ideas that maybe you didn't think about initially, or maybe someone has something that makes it better, and so you pull them down sometimes so that you can rework them. There was another bill that went on that particular law, and I didn't really like the way they did it. And I supported it because I wanted to move the process along, but I thought our bill was a whole lot better. Well, now those people that were opposed to mine, they're on our side now. They're going to work with us, and I believe we'll see something come out on that.
Bob, was there
It was for both?
No, okay. Well, we had, I got a number of bills that we got out of the Senate. We got one for the interstate compact for border security, got to the House, didn't go anywhere in the House, we got one for, the, grid security, grid protection, passed it out of the Senate, didn't get out of the House. I think I had a total of what, 13 of them that got to the House, but, couldn't get out of calendars, couldn't get out of hearing in the committee on any of them, so.
But of course, this is what we were aware of before the session ever started last time, because we knew the Senate was more conservative than the House this time, and bills were probably gonna die in the House, and a lot of them did. A lot of the
Well,
bills
now,
we-
you know, I'm not gonna debate who's the most conservative, but I could.
Well, I'm
tell
talking
you-
as a whole,
I
the
know.
body
Well,
as
I
a whole.
can tell you a lot of House bills that didn't make it out of the Senate.
Yeah.
So I mean,
that's
it kinda
true.
goes both
But-
ways.
Well, it goes
So
both ways.
I just wanna be sure that the people
But-
know
but
that there's
the-
not a one-way trip here.
Well, it's not a one-way
Yeah.
trip, but definitely the House killed more bills of the Senate than vice versa. And I mean, you can, anybody that's followed the politics of Texas knows that. I mean, all the from University, Rice University on down, all those political correspondence, yes.